Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for.
All right, everybody. I am back. And when I say back, I mean I'm quite literally back from San Antonio. Hope everybody enjoyed a crazy national championship evening. Just got back from the airport maybe an hour ago. By the way, not even recording in the normal studio space. I'm here on my couch because my dog will not leave my side. She might come in midway through this video and say, you know what, Torres, Daddy, I love you, but you're not talking any more college basketball. But while she's sleeping, I had to spend half a second and talk about a huge story that broke while I was in the airport on, I guess it was Tuesday morning, okay? So Jayden Quaintance, we've talked about him a million times. I will get into, his background and everything, but he was an all Big 12 freshman team player, 17 years old, youngest player in college basketball, averaged 9.5 points, 8 boards, 2.5 blocks per game as a 17-year-old in the Big 12. Well, a week ago, he entered the portal. Of course, ironically, I was in the airport going to San Antonio when he entered. I did a reaction to him entering the portal at the airport in Las Vegas. Well, as I'm boarding my flight back to Los Angeles in a layover in Houston, somehow I got a San Antonio to layover Houston. Don't even ask me how. But in Houston, I see the news that Jayden Quaintance, who once upon a time was committed to Kentucky, decommits when John Calipari leaves. Well, he was in the portal. He is in the portal no more. And I promise you, if something big happened on Tuesday, we talk about it. No live show today. But we did get the news that Jayden Quaintance, 6'10", I believe top 10 type draft pick in the 2026 draft. He is out of the portal as he has committed to the University of Kentucky, baby. And let me say this. I know some of you are going to say, oh, Torres, you were critical of Mark Pope a week ago. I wasn't critical. I asked some tough questions. But at the end of the day, this is Mark Pope's single biggest recruiting win as the Kentucky Wildcats head coach. He gets a guy that, God willing, health-wise, and we're going to talk about the health stuff in a minute, I think could be a potential All-American. So credit Mark Pope. He gets what I believe the most talented player he has landed as the Kentucky basketball coach. And with it, I just got one question, baby. You got that hope in Pope because you better after what he just pulled off today. Hope in Pope, baby. Hope in Pope. Get that Hope in Pope t-shirt at AaronTorresOnline.com/merchandise. But let's go ahead and dive into this because this is huge on so many levels, okay? So listen, we've talked about the Jayden Quaintance story so many times, but we remember it from a year ago. We did so many segments on this kid. 6'10". Remember, he committed to Kentucky at 16 years old, then reclassified to play college basketball this year. He did it as a 17-year-old. He was the youngest player in college basketball. We all talked about how great Cooper Flagg was, and it's not that Cooper Flagg wasn't great, but Jayden Quaintance was 8 or 9 months younger than Cooper Flagg and averaged 9.5 points per game. Again, 8 boards, 2.5 blocks in the Big 12. The League of Houston, the League of Texas, the League of Texas Tech, I should say, the League of Arizona. He was awesome. As a true 17-year-old, truly should have been in his senior year of high school and could have been in his junior year of high school with the way these class, work, how everything works now. And he stepped into college basketball. He delivered, but again, was once upon a time committed to Kentucky. He ends up recommitting to Kentucky now a year and a half later. One, I think it's a cool story. I'll say this. I'm happy for the kid. Listen, this is no disrespect to Bobby Hurley, okay? But we've seen it. We got like 8, 9, 10 years. He's been there for a while. And I think, they took a chance on him a year ago when Jayden reopened his recruitment after John Calipari left for Arkansas. And let me even kind of go all over the place here. A couple things. One, I don't think he was the perfect fit for Mark Pope at the time a year ago. He's trying to build this veteran team. Kentucky fans understandably had been let down by so many freshmen, so many young guys, and it became a thing of, do I want to run back the same playbook as the previous head coach? And so Mark Pope, yes, there was communication with the Quaintance family, but I don't think it was the perfect fit for either side. But I think Mark Pope realized some things, which we'll get into in a minute. The Quaintance family realized that, listen, we love Coach Hurley, but we have 1 year to put Jayden in the best position to be an NBA top 5, top 10 pick. And it is a perfect fit and a perfect match, because I'll tell you this, when I look at Jayden Quaintance, I've thrown out the stats a bunch of times, so I'm not going to go ahead and do it again. But I bring it up because he is just scratching the surface of his potential. 9.5 points, 8 boards, 2.5 blocks as a 17-year-old. Here's the crazy part. Go back and watch Arizona State games. They didn't run offense for him. Pretty simple what they're doing out there. Not tough to scout, okay? He's going to set a pick. He's going to roll the rim. He's either going to get the ball or he's not. And if you watched Arizona State, you know in most cases he didn't. If you watch Jayden Quaintance through the year, I was so impressed by his motor, by his energy, and by basically every single point that he got at Arizona State was off second chances, was off second opportunities, because there was no offense being run for him. And so he's just starting to scratch the surface of his potential. I don't think we even saw anything close to how good he can potentially be as a college basketball player and eventually as an NBA player, because, again, the system wasn't the fit for him. And so I saw Jayden's dad did an interview with Jonathan Givony. He talked about the system. He talked about the role. Think about this. Brandon Garrison was allowed to shoot threes. Andrew Carr, I know is a different player, took threes. This isn't going to be just Jayden Quaintance parking his butt in the paint and, oh, you got to, just go get rebounds. No. I think you're going to be stunned with how talented this kid is and how much upside he has left, and, of course, what Mark Pope can bring out of him. Now, really quick, a couple things. One, because I know a lot of you are going to ask, the injury factor. And, we certainly never wish injuries upon anybody, but this is a reality in this recruitment, okay? Jayden suffered a knee injury late in the year. Now, according to the interview with Jonathan Givony, he had a surgery about 3 weeks ago now, so that's positive. And I talked to people that would know. Let me put it that way. One, Jayden's already ahead of schedule with his recovery. He's 17 years old. He's built like a Mack truck. All he does is live in the gym, even when he's healthy. And so I think the quote that somebody told me was, he's like Thor, I think was the quote, or Wolverine, Superman, whatever. I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make, he's 17 years old. He's going to be okay. Right now, the timeline is late July, early August, mid-August. He's able to get to do on-the-court activities, 1-on-0 type stuff. And then on top of that, I think he's going to be ready for the start of practice for contact. And I think in theory, he could be ready for the start of the season. Now, is he going to be day one what he was at his best at Arizona State? Probably not. That's a recovery. But right now, listen, I'll say this. I don't think Mark Pope takes him if he doesn't think that he's going to be on the court, healthy, ready to play. I'll take it a step further. This I do not know. This is just me totally speculating. My guess is they probably had to clear some stuff with the UK medical staff before they took this commitment. Because they're not just going to be the rehab place. And I'm not saying that Jayden or his family would use Kentucky that way, but I'm just saying, they're not going to rush him. But if they didn't think he was going to be able to play this year, or that he wasn't going to get on the court till February or March, they might have just passed on him. And so to me, I think that timeline matches up perfectly. Get healthy in July and August, get ready, ramp up, be ready for the start of the season, and then be a dog in February and March, okay? And so I am so excited to see this happen. Again, and by the way, that's always subject to change. I'm not a doctor, whatever. You get that. Really quickly, a couple other things. One, I want to say this. I love the roster that Mark Pope has put together this offseason, okay? And yes, let's be clear. I was critical. I was the guy that kept talking about, did Mark Pope, I had the video, is Mark Pope missing on too many guys? Mark Pope keeps missing on guys. What does it mean? But if you listen to the video, we talked it through. I said, it's not a big deal. Portal days, what did I say? I said, a day in the portal is like a week in real life. Stuff changes so fast. I mean, think about a week ago if I had told you Ian Jackson was going to be in the portal, Yaxel Lendenberg was going to be at Michigan, Jalan Lowe, however you say his name, I've been traveling, I'm just whatever, was going to, I don't even think he was on Kentucky's board a week ago, and now he's a Wildcat. Mo Diabate wasn't even in the portal, and he is a Wildcat. So, yes, I was a little bit concerned about the misses, and I think there was really one miss, if we're being honest. It was Donovan Dent, okay? Kentucky fans, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I don't think you were ever getting Yaxel Lendenberg. It's not a knock. I kind of know a little bit about that recruitment. I don't think you were going to be a factor there. And then Magoon Gwath from San Diego State decided, I'm going to go back to the school that I love, and I never even wanted to transfer in the first place. And so I just bring it up because it was really one miss. It was Donovan Dent. I'm guilty of it. I thought he was going to Kentucky, whatever. But Mark Pope lands his guy, and this is what I love about what Mark Pope has done this offseason, okay? In life, what you want to do, you want to learn and grow year over year. There are things that we are doing on this podcast and this YouTube channel that we weren't doing a year ago because it's working. It makes sense. We've learned from it. Something didn't work, etc. Okay. And so I bring it up because I think Mark Pope went into last offseason, first of all, way behind the 8 ball. We know he didn't get the job till a week from now, like April 15th or so. But he went into it, and I think, again, he kind of had this idea of Kentucky fans have been burned by freshmen. Let me get older guys that I can trust, that the fan base can embrace, and that's largely what happened. Lamont Butler, Kobe Brea, Andrew Carr, Amari Williams, Jackson Robinson. I know I'm missing a few. I apologize for whoever I forgot. Ansley Almanor, of course, was a factor. But I think what Mark Pope realized as the season went on, especially as you got deeper in SEC play and the injuries started to wear, is that sometimes, dude, listen, skill is nice and the mid-major guys, and they could do this and they could do that, and Kobe Brea hit this. That's not a knock on Kobe Brea. But sometimes you just need freaking dudes. You need dogs. You need mean MFers, okay? And when I look at the SEC this year, say what you want about how it ended for Auburn. They made a Final Four. They won the SEC regular season title, and they were a bunch of mean MFers, and when they got rolling, they were tough as hell, and they were going to kick your butt and take names. We know about Florida. Tennessee, I know Kentucky actually beat Tennessee 2 out of 3 times, but Tennessee, they're going to drag you into the mud and wrestle you and stick your mud in the face, and you got to get back up and fight back. And it's not that those guys didn't try, but by the end of the year, Kentucky was just overmatched. Think about that SEC tournament game against Alabama. Think about the Tennessee game in the Sweet 16. And so I think what Mark Pope realized is I have to trade a little bit of skill for dudes that I know can play at this level, compete at this level, and be fearless, okay? 4 commitments so far. I think it's worth noting. 3 of them are from the high major ranks. Jalan Lowe, point guard, Pitt. Mo Diabate, who we haven't even talked about. Mark Pope, can you get a commitment not on a day of a big game? You get Cam Williams, who's the 4th guy. You get that the day of your first NCAA tournament game. It was against whoever Kentucky played. I can't even remember. Troy, maybe. And then you get Mo Diabate the day of the championship game. I got a game to cover. I can't talk about it. But I haven't even talked about Mo Diabate. What I love about Mo Diabate, he is a dog. He is a kid that has been through the wars in the SEC, and he brings quite almost literally his hard hat every single night. That's what Alabama does, the hard hat thing, right? They give out the hard hat of the game. And so I don't care about how many points Mo Diabate scored. You need dudes that you can throw in the second half at Auburn, at Bud Walton Arena, in Knoxville, that are unafraid. I'm not saying the Kentucky kids were afraid this year, but you get the point. And I think Jayden Quaintance fits that description as well. If he is healthy by the season, that is a dude you can go to war with any night, and you will never be at a disadvantage physically, stylistically down low against anybody. By the way, just don't even take my word for it. Look at who was recruiting Jayden Quaintance before he committed. Auburn wanted that kid bad. Kansas obviously wanted him as well. So you look at who was interested in Jayden, and it comes down to Missouri wanted him. You go on and on. You look at who was recruiting Jayden. He is a kid you can go to war with every single night in the SEC. And I think now Kentucky is going to be bigger, more athletic than they were. They're trading a little bit of skill for much, much, much more athleticism and toughness, which I think they're going to have. Lastly, let's credit Mark Pope. Listen, I had to do the segment last week because you guys were asking me about it, and I think it was fair in the moment. Listen, to the OG listeners of the Aaron Torres pod, I very much appreciate you because I'm never going to shy away from a topic. And a topic that had the fan base on edge last week was we've missed on a few guys. Louisville's got 2 or 3 commitments. whoever, Alabama added this guy was there. What about that? This and that. And so you wanted some positive news. So we talked about the negative at the time, but you get Jalan Lowe, you get Mo Diabate, you get Cam Williams. Now you got Jayden freaking Quaintance. And I think the big thing is the portal, as I said a minute ago, it moves so fast. So if you miss on a guy, guess what? There's going to be 5 more in the portal a week from now. You know, you don't fall in love in the portal, you fall in like in the portal, right? Well, they say you don't fall in love on the Jersey Shore. Don't fall in love in the portal. It's kind of the same. You know, sometimes you go out, you think she's the perfect girl or he's the perfect guy. Next thing you know, I don't even know where this analogy is going. Listen, I'm on like 2 hours sleep, had to talk about it, but don't fall in love in the Jersey Shore. Don't fall in love in the portal. That is my theme for today. My theme for today, don't fall in love in the Jersey Shore. Don't fall in love in the portal. But listen, Pope, and this applies to every coach, Pope, whoever, they're going to get their guys. Kentucky's always, you know, what did the old coach say? Kentucky's always going to eat first. And I said it, by the way, really quick side tangent. We'll go. I'm rambling. I said this when Ian Jackson entered the portal. I said, these coaches at the highest level, the money is so big for players now, and the money's so big for the coaches, they're never going to miss out. You think Bruce Pearl has like 2 players right now? You think Auburn is just going to punt on next season because they missed on a player or 2 in the portal? No, they're going to go get MFers. They're going to figure out where they are, and they're going to get them. St. John's needs guys. Kansas needs guys. Tennessee needs guys. Arkansas needs guys. These coaches aren't going to go in shorthanded. And so it's the same with Mark Pope. To me, he proved last offseason he can identify talent. He knows how to put together a team, and I think he's doing a good job with this as well. So I could go on and on. I've already made my Jersey Shore reference. I'm half asleep. My dog is now sleeping too. She's very happy that I'm home. I'm going to go do whatever. But Jayden Quaintance is a Wildcat. Congrats, Kentucky fans. You should be really fired up. Make sure you're subscribed. Aaron Torres Pod YouTube channel. Make sure you're following our CBB Transfers page, CBB Transfers on Twitter, CBB Transfers on Instagram. And oh, by the way, if you didn't have it a week ago, you should have it now. Hope and Pope. Get your t-shirts at AaronTorresOnline.com/merchandise. AaronTorresOnline.com/merchandise. By the way, last little thought. I said it on the live show Thursday night or Monday night. Thank you to everybody for your support. Numbers for January, February, March as college hoops ramped up were bananas. April's trending the same. Thank you all for all of your support from the bottom of my heart. Jayden Quaintance, the Kentucky Wildcat.